Hello everyone, this is Turin here, and today guys I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this game I'm going to be playing the Dwarfs and I am facing off against the Greenskins, though it looks like he is doing a little bit of Crooked Moon action, so a lot of Greenskin players will actually use that as like bait. They'll make you think they're going a bunch of goblins, and then all of a sudden you have like a horde of black orcs. So I'm going to play a little bit safe. I'm going to get some Dwarf Warriors with the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, and then on top of that I'm also going to get some Longbeards with great weapons. So mixing it up a little bit. Hopefully it'll work out. I do also have Slayers, the Althar's Raiders, which are pretty good against like Arachnaut Queens and things like that. It's just a good utility unit to have. And then lastly but not least, I do have 2 Gyrocopters. So bombs are very good against goblins. The Gyro bombs just wreck goblin formations, especially if they're blobbed. So if he does have like a ton of nasty skulkers, it'll do pretty well. And even against like black orcs and things like that, it seems to be pretty efficient. So we're going to go ahead and set up here. But kind of my principle with this is I really didn't want to have like too much to have to protect. I wanted to just have a very like thin army. I mean, if he does have like, you know, Azag up in the sky to chase my Gyrocopters, I can at least run them away and they're not going to just be like free money for my opponent. So let's go a little bit wider. Well, actually, do I want to go more narrow? The problem with going narrow is if he has like Hammer of Gork and a bunch of like rock lobbers, it can really be devastating. So let's go ahead and set up like this. I do have the mighty Thorgrim here. We're going to put our Gremlin Guard right here. So the Gremlin Guard, you want to like check their positioning. Oh, that's not that great. So maybe we'll put them like right here. So at least it's hitting these 2 groups. Great. So on top of that, we do have our stripped down Runesmith. We'll put him over here. We'll put the big pop one right here and have this be like our main pocket. And then on top of that, the Thane we can also put in the front line as well. So we have the Althar's Raiders who we can sit right here. Nice little open space for them. We'll put some Dwarf Warriors in the flank to protect them here. Put some Dwarf Warriors back here as well. And Dwarf Warriors, I mean, they have pretty good stats, especially if you put a few chevrons in them. They have 42 melee defense, but when you put them near Thorgrim, they get 43 and it's like 36 melee attack, which is really, really cost effective there. So then, of course, some Slayers in the back. So good. I'm feeling all right. So let's see if my opponent had some mind games going on. I mean, one thing he did is, I mean, by going the Crooked Moon, he kind of like baited me into going a few more Dwarf Warriors and Warriors of Dragonfire Pass for the goblins, but we'll see. We'll see what shenanigans he's got up his sleeve. So looks like he does have some missile units. He's got some squigs. So the first thing we're going to do is go shoot at those squigs. And thankfully we do have these gyros, which will be very, very good against them. Granted, these are the armor piercing variant, so they're not like, amazing. And it looks like he does have Doom Divers coming after me, actually. So, oh no, we're going to have to just fly over them here and see what's going on. But if the Doom Divers are shooting at gyros instead of my Jawi forces, that's going to be really nice. So we do see some hidden troops right here. Let's go see what else is going on. It looks like he does have some Goblin Archers right here. All kinds of funny stuff. So yeah, you can see they're doing the short range. Oh no, they actually switched it up. So now they're actually shooting at my formation. So definitely going to be taking a little bit of a beating here. But you know what, guys? Can't have it all. So we're going to try and shoot at some of these squigs right here. Let's fly these guys here. And these are Goblin Archers, but regardless, I mean, it will add up and start to do some work. So let's just pull them back right now and just, engage with the main formation and just use them as like a countermeasure to squigs and all that stuff. So he actually is doing a bit of a Gobbo army. So his build here, he does have Skarsnik too, so a very nice thematic army. It's going to be a little bit better against my army than, a traditional orc army. This is more designed to deal with like a black orc ball and all that kind of stuff, So he does have a giant in the back too, so we'll see how the giant plays out. So we're just going to advance right on those artillery pieces and hopefully be able to go from there. So let's get this Runesmith running up here. He can start to like cast some Runes of Wrath and Ruin like early, so we're going to run those guys up and forward and just use these guys to honestly shoot at the giants and squigs. That's going to be their duty. And then when the game gets really like close in the end and tight, we're going to then go after the what's it called? Although Slayers are pretty good against squigs, so maybe I can just use those guys and go after the giant with the gyros. But why not? Let's shoot at Skarsnik. Screw it. We can just pop him. I mean, he's not the biggest target, but he's a decent little guy to shoot at. So it looks like my opponent is going to be charging in here. Skarsnik's taking a little bit of fire, so we're going to just move right up into these guys here. Move right up into these guys, and unfortunately he does have nasty skulkers, which are pretty good against like great weapons and all that stuff. So right now it doesn't look like we're taking too much pressure on the side. Let's get the Gremlin Guard engaged here as well. And we're shooting at Skarsnik. Things are looking up in the world. It looks like the giant is finally starting to waddle in. So let's get these guys engaged right here. And our Althar's Raiders. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me there. So we'll start shooting at some of these Goblin Big Bosses. And did we use the rune there? We did. And the other one, we want to make sure to use all of the runes here. So let's go ahead and pop the Runes of Wrath and Ruin. Just pop that right here on all of these hordes of units, and just keep the Slayers and Auxiliary in the back to just be like defensive here. So we really want to take that giant down. It looks like it's going pretty well, so we're going to fly over and actually start bombing some of these goblins. So let's go in here and pop it just like so. Did we get it? Oh yeah, that was a nice one right in the middle of all those guys. These Dwarf Warriors, we're going to pull them back in Auxiliary as well. And let's just get another bombing run here and see if we can maybe do some work against some of these nasty skulkers. So 1, 2, 3, and we got it. Okay, great. So we're going to start shooting at some of those squigs in the back. It looks like we are doing a little bit of work against this giant. So we need to pull the Raiders back, and let's pull the Slayers in and just have them go after it. I think that's probably, actually,
Are you seriously shooting Skarsnik and Squigs in my
Yes,
presence?
yeah. The mighty folks are falling, but they're doing pretty well against me. If that makes you feel any better.
I want divorce.
You want divorce? Oh God. Yeah, but the giant is getting a little bit low. We're starting to work it down a little bit. That perpetual fire is doing well, but the squig collapse is just it's doing some devastating work here. And also my lord Thorgrim, but it will pop the High King buff, which is nice. So let's go ahead and pop a Rune of Wrath and Ruin here. This one we also do have another Rune of Wrath and Ruin, so we're going to pop that on the squig herds, and we're going to pull the gyros back as they are taking a ton of damage. So our line has been compromised a little bit. Thorgrim is low, but thankfully, well, not thankfully, but hopefully his High King buff will pop relatively shortly. So come on, pull back here, guys. What are you doing? Quit messing around. So our infantry corps is doing well, and what are these? Are these like, oh, these are the warriors of Dragonfire Pass, so we need to get on the Rusty Airs back there. Those guys are just a menace. So we'll pull in here, drop another set of bombs on these squigs. I haven't been terribly efficient with the bombs, but, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to drop the bombs there, and we got those squigs right on the head, which is nice. So we're able to kind of force those guys back, so let's pull back in here, get Thorgrim a little bit safer, and let's actually drop some bombs on some of these missiles back here. So he's very, very condensed here. So we're going to get those other gyros back as well, and we do have a bombing run coming right here, so let's go, let's go, let's go. And do we get him? We did get a nice little bomb there, so you can see those guys took some substantial damage. So it looks like a lot of the leadership for our opponent is starting to take a little bit of damage. Skarsnik is actually almost dead, so we're going to get Thorgrim in there and see if we can chase him down a little bit. We can get these gyros and actually do a little bit of dive bombing action. And you know what? Why don't we actually just dive on those goblin archers and just get on the Rusty Airs with all... Oh, but there's nasty skulkers, so we actually need to pull back. So we're going to check for some routing units, just make sure to bring all these guys back. We did pretty well for ourselves, although High King Thorgrim is a little bit isolated here. Ooh, that's not good. Oh man, this is all bad news, guys. So let's get our gyros over here and keep going after the mighty Skarsnik. And do we want to go after him there? Oh, yeah, we're just taking so much damage. High King will be popped, which is nice, but still, like, our forces are looking pretty barren right now. So do we have a Thane? Oh, the Thane chased the, did he chase? Oh man, he chased those guys. That's really bad. That would have been very, very helpful for us. So good. So we do have another Rune of Wrath and Ruin here. Hopefully we can get that online. The balance of power is very heavily in our opponent's favor. So I think it might be all she wrote for the Proud Jawi. The build worked okay. I was a little bit sloppy with protecting things. In the squigs and the giant and all that stuff. I should have been more active about focusing Skarsnik. I think if we had been able to kind of pop him down, we might have been able to pull something out, but very well played to my opponent here. So let's go ahead and run in here. Make sure to use these nice little auras. And 1 and 2 and 3. Good, good. My gyrocopter play, the bombs were a little bit inefficient as well. I wasn't like that great at that, and I didn't get too much value out of my Altars Raiders, but it did a good job of focusing down the giant at the very least, so can't complain about that. And also letting the Thane slip. I mean, that one more Thane in the main battle could have made the difference of like killing Skarsnik, and that could be, you know, a very different battle, because goblins obviously suffer against leadership, but at the end of the day, I just couldn't get in his back line here. He had so many artillery pieces just wailing down. So yeah, definitely drop the GG, and you know what? We'll let the Thane run over there. It's funny that the balance of power is still like this heavy, considering like how badly massacred my main army got. Like although, you know, because the goblin units, as far as like balance of power goes, they don't like count for that much. So come on, run over there. Do it, Thane, scurry. Get you pump those dwarven legs. And Thanes do look really cool though. Look at that guy with his like awesome little thing on his head, the wings. I always like those like style of helmets. They're really cool. So we do have some gyros coming back, so let's go ahead and just run them over here. And looks like there's some, oh, these are slayers. So the slayers are fighting to the death against the squigs, which is always cool. It'd be funny if we actually like pulled this out somehow, like the Thane just like routes everything. But Skarsnik's really low, so can we find him and go after him? Oh, do we just want to chase Skarsnik into the Shadow Realm? Why do we have all these troops coming back? What's happening here? So we're going to reform ranks back here, so let's go ahead and degroup all these guys just so they don't bug out in their movement. We'll posture up over there and see what we can do. And right now we're just going full on Mission Impossible, so let's go after this Night Goblin Shaman. At least, you know, if we're going to go down, let's get some heroic kills before all is said and done. And how many Slayers do we have left here? We have one Slayer. Come on, be the hero, Slayer. Be the hero you were meant to be. Let's gun down Skarsnik with the gyrocopter, see if those guys can go. And oh yeah, Dad's coming. Dad's coming for you, swiggity swooty. He's just going to be running through the front line. It looks like the Goblin. He's not going to catch him, is he? Let's see. 32 to the Goblin's got to be faster. 35, yeah. So we're not catching that. So we'll just start beating on some of these Goblin archers, I guess, for now. It looks like everything is routing. I think we're just going to have army losses here. Yeah, it looks like he's wavering. He's had enough. At least he, you know, gets a nice little shield bash on one of those Goblins before all is said and done. So well played to Sakarma. Definitely, I was expecting some orcs. He mind gamed me a little bit with that. You know, I didn't really know which direction to go with my build, so that's something that's like works with Clan Angren too, but it works better with the greenskins because a lot of times if someone goes, you know, Crooked Moon, you're going to expect all Gobos, and he actually did it. But I thought he was going to go maybe orcs or something, but he played awesome. Like his artillery play and all that kind of stuff was really good. So cool. So let's head back. We got Sir Luigi, 47, and we're going to play. Who do we want to play? What do you guys want to see? We've seen plenty of Krell, I feel. I think we need like, I know you guys like Chaos. Chaos is always fun. So let's play Chaos. Let's see who he picks. So, and guys, I do have an auto-gen game coming up soon too. I don't know if this game will be up before or after it. Usually I cast in sequence, but I might get the impulse to just throw that bad boy up. So let's see who Luigi wants to play. Is he going to play the Wood Elves? It always bothers me when people sit on Argolin and just like, you never know who they're going to play. Just and it makes me think they're AFK sometimes too, but I don't think he is. He's here. He's waiting. So we could go Big Bird. I mean, Big Bird's good against Wood Elves. He's got that fat missile resist of 70%, which is pretty insane. So we'll see. And the Dwarves. All right. So, man, I would love to use Krell right now, but you know I'm already committed. So let's get the big Kolek. Do I want to get the Star Crusher? Do you want to get Star Crusher just for thematics? Let's do it. That'll be fun. Foe Seeker. Yeah, we'll keep it. Why not? Let's go Big Daddy Kolek right now. So let's mix up the build a little bit just so you guys are a little bit more entertained. I know I rag on these guys all the time, and I honestly think they're not very good, but we're going to get some Exalted Heroes and see what they can do. So for our caster, we can get Metal. For Metal, we can get... Do we want to keep... Yeah, Searing Doom's okay. Plague of Rust. 30 armor and leadership. Yeah, it's just all... Transmutational Lead isn't bad. Those are some pretty substantial debuffs there. So Plague of Rust and then Searing Doom just for missile units and stuff. So for the main army, we want some great weapons, obviously. Let's cut this. Let's get 2 Marauders. And then we're also going to get some Forsaken just to pressure the back because Forsaken with Metal is actually really strong. We're going to get a Chariot. And do I want to get anything else? Do I want to get some Trolls? Trolls are just so haggard. We're going to get 1 Man-Score just to make sure that he doesn't go too ham in there for. So we're sacrificing quite a bit by getting the 2 Exalted Heroes. It's basically taking away our second Chariot, but you know what? I think it should be fine. We have the Man-Score, which can basically zone out Gyrocopters pretty efficiently. And, oh man, do I want to get like 1 group of Marauder Horsemen? I feel like that's a good idea. So we cut these guys here, but 2 Forsaken is so sweet. So good. All right, here we go. Showtime. So we're going to bring the big business to Sir Luigi. So guys, we're going to be trying to stream more too. Get more streams, Lady Turin and I, as you heard her earlier in this cast. But again, it really depends on my hand. Like, my hand is a little bit sore after yesterday's stream, but again, since I don't work like a regular 9 to 5 now, I can hopefully play more. We'll see. But regardless, there will be more daily videos. We're going to have like, 2 or 3 videos a day probably. So if you guys let me know if you'd like that. I mean, I always thought like, people will like more videos, but on that same coin, it could be kind of annoying if you might get sick of it. So let me know if you guys want me to just spam out more videos, and I gladly will. So, all right, so we're going to get these Marauders set up like so. Just get our formation ready to deploy here, and we're going to spread out just like that. All right, great. And then we're going to put the Exalted Hero. We're going to put 1 here and 1 here. So the Exalted Heroes, what I want to do with them is have them go after the Dwarf Runesmiths, things like that. Just go snipe the relatively high-value units, and hopefully they'll do a good job of doing that. I mean, they do have good combat stats. 65 melee attack is nothing to sneeze at. So Chaos Knights would have been nice too. That's one thing I do feel like I'm missing a little bit. So great. So we're going to get our main army here. We'll put Kolek a little bit deeper so he doesn't take initial missile fire. We'll put our Metal Caster. Is the Metal Caster on foot? It is. Okay, so if it's on foot, you usually want it in the front so it doesn't have to march as far. And it can also hide from the missile fire, but among other troops. So let's get this battle rolling. And Forsaken are actually good in the Dwarf matchup if you bring the Metal Sorcerer. So what you do is you use Plague of Rust, you overcast it, and then you get the negative 60 armor, and then they can just tear apart even Longbeards and stuff because they have such insane weapon strength. 64 is so high for infantry, or 50. But once the frenzy kicks in and the game starts, they'll then be at a 64, I think. So they do have immunity to psychology. Is that because of the frenzy, or is that like a separate thing? I actually never noticed that really. But did they change that? A little bit of a ninja buff to Forsaken. I could have sworn they didn't have that before, but I guess they do. So that's pretty neat. But Kolek's obviously the better choice against the Dwarves. He's a big magnet for fire. Excuse me, guys. He's a big magnet for firepower and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, like, his AP is insane, and he can crack that Dwarven shell, like, really aggressively, so. Big Bird's not bad either. He can charge through the formations. He also brings Lord Metal, so you don't have to bring a caster. So he's a good choice in that respect as well, so. Oh god, I forgot to hotkey this. Let's go ahead and get that. And it looks like he does have a pretty scary front line, Longbeards mostly, but yeah, he's gonna struggle a little bit, in my opinion, because he doesn't have like a lot of armor piercing. So Kolek, since like he does have a lot of firepower, we're gonna do a little bit of side strafing action with Kolek and hopefully be able to get in there. But he has Ironbreakers, but we're gonna be able to outmaneuver with Forsaken, I think, on the far side. Does he have Ironbreakers on both sides? So okay, I actually like that, having the Ironbreakers there. It's going to be pretty hard to like get the Forsaken around them, I think. But the Chariot will do pretty well, kind of hopefully tearing into the back line. So let's go ahead and run that. We do have Lord of the Storm coming up. We actually brought Star Crusher too, which isn't like a competitive thing, but it's going to be cool if we can actually like get that like deployed at the right time. And that's a nice little engagement right there. So I'm tempted to honestly like hide behind here with these guys. Just like hide like that. And maybe the cannon will just keep missing. Yes, good Anakin, hide there. So we're getting that sweet, sweet hiding on. So we're going to go ahead and get our front line relatively engaged. So let's get these guys like so. These guys can push up right up the middle like this. These guys can go here, and these guys... I like to manually do it. I know you can like do it with the whole army, but it's kind of just like an instinct thing. Like I've been doing it so long that like at this point it would just be annoying to change. So great. So Kolek's ready to go. So where do we want to go with Kolek? I think we want to pull Kolek down and around. These Forsaken want to go here, so let's put them in group 4. And then these guys be in group 5 and just have them start running as well. So good. So everything's going relatively to code. We're going to land the Manticore over here on these Thunders because I don't think he has Slayers. So we should be, you know, pretty well off there, I would say. It looks like these Ironbreakers are going to be chasing the Chariots. Ooh, those Chariots are taking a lot of damage, though. That's definitely not good. Oh, my voice is going. Oh, guys, it's so hard. So let's go ahead and pull around here and get away from that gunner fire. And then we also do have Lord of the Storm. So we're going to pop that somewhere in here. So maybe right on these guys in the front. Yeah, that should be fine. So we're going to drop that right there. And it looks like we do take some blasting charges. So the Forsaken going to run up through there. Then they're going to cut right through here. And we also do have this this Lore Metal here. So we're going to go ahead and overcast this on these guys, which is going to make them nice and squishy. And the Chariots we're going to pull around the back. And you guys will see the Forsaken will tear these guys up with that buff on. So Kolek did get into the front line. He's doing a pretty good job for us. We're going to go ahead and just kind of keep running him around. We don't want to go after Ungrim probably. So let's go after these Thunders and just shut down all his missile play. And these Forsaken, able to outmaneuver the Dwarves, obviously. Hopefully they're able to. But we get into these Thunders here who are very squishy right now. And let's go ahead and pop a Transmutation of Lead in the front where the big fighting is happening. And that should actually hit his Lord. But, man, we are just laying a smackdown over here on these Thunders, which is really nice. So let's actually run into the back of these Ironbreakers, although they're still braced. So let's go into some of these Miners here. So good. So we're able to get in there and mainly, essentially just shut down his Thunders. And this Manticore over here is doing the same thing. But we want to get these Forsaken on the cannons over here, although those blasting charges are just doing some serious work. So let's go ahead and pull in here. We do get a charge with our Chariots. Let's pull these guys into the back, and we do want to get our caster back. We don't want to give that booty up for free. So we're going to charge in there, just kind of keep running around. The Chariot's going to go slam into the front line, and the Forsaken and the boys are going to go here. So we do have another Plague of Rust coming up relatively soon. And oh man, is Ungrim just going after my caster? Just totally sloppy play letting that happen. But regardless, we're okay. So we're going to get into here and shut down the cannons. And I think once the back line's compromised, it's going to be really tough for my opponent to come back. So all of his cannons and other pieces like that are in pretty bad shape. So right now, let's just charge into the front line of these Longbeards. No need to really sit here, although we can honestly like take down these Ironbreakers. So what we'll do is we'll overcast this, get the Plague of Rust on these guys, which will make them relatively squishy, down to 60 armor, which is quite low. So let's pop the leadership and just start working on those guys. We have Forsaken and all kinds of other guys on the cannon crews, and actually these Exalted Heroes aren't doing terribly for us, but we're not going to go fight those Ironbreakers. We can just leave them and just run over back into the middle. But so much has been compromised in his back line. We've just done so much work over there. And the Ironbreakers are, you know, doing their thing. But are those guys actually shattered? Man, we just laid a beating. But look at Kolek get in here and just crush these guys. So that Plague of Rust doing very good for us. So we'll just leave him to deal with those Ironbreakers. It looks like, for the most part, the Longbeards in the front line did collapse. So I definitely would say critiques of the build from my opponent. He definitely needed a little bit more armor piercing. He was very, very light on that, which was rough. So right now we're going to go after these guys. We'll get the Chariot running over here. Actually, yeah, we'll just go after some of these Longbeards on the far side. Good. It's a little bit lazy with that as well, but we do have our Sorcerer back. So let's use a Transmutation of Lead right here to kind of weaken his Lord a little bit. And we're actually going to pop the Star Crusher and see how much work we can do. Obviously, Ungrim will do okay here. So let's pop this, see if we can get a little bit of timing. Oh, look at that Star Crusher damage. That's fat. He took quite a beating here. So come on, drop it. Oh yeah, we got the Longbeards or the Ironbreakers. So let's see how these attacks do. So Kolek's taking more damage than I would like. So we're actually going to pull him back. I don't want like any chance for my opponent to come back here. So we're going to just scurry back here real quick. We do have all these warriors in the front line who have broken through. So let's go ahead and just, you know, push those guys on and up. And we'll get the Manticore flying back there to deal with the Thunders. Exalted Hero doing a pretty good job of just kind of distracting those guys. And let's get the Chariots running over there as well. So Kolek is crushing some stars for sure. Ungrim over there is kind of just having some fun fighting against Exalted Heroes. We are taking some blasting charges. I'd always wondered how much damage the blasting charges actually do to like units like Kolek, like big, massive things. And I have a feeling it wouldn't be very good. So let's run down the cannon crew right here, see if we can get a little bit of work. But we're coming in pretty hot. Kolek is in good shape, so we can have him go fight Ungrim. I think at this point it's probably safe. And we can even Plague of Rust Ungrim to make him that much squishier against all these units. So because Ungrim is very tanky. I mean, he has 120 armor, so but he does have that anti-large, so we need to be aware of that. So come on, attack. We do run over that cannon crew. We'll slam into the back of these Miners. Bounce power is looking pretty good for us at this point. So Manticore did a good job finishing those guys off. And does he have any more handgunners laying around? I don't think so. So we'll bring the Manticore back. And, oh, man, it looks like Ungrim is just taking a beating from Kolek. Man, that's some heavy beatdown. But I guess that Plague of Rust is pretty good. But with big units like Kolek, you sometimes, like when he's in a blob, you have to like refocus him because he's going to start attacking other things. So you just turn around, make sure you just click on Ungrim, and it looks like he did go down there. So at this point, my opponent should have army losses. we should be able to win the day. So it's cool using the Ironbreakers on the wings and everything, but he was a little bit immobile with them. I think the Ironbreakers needed to like help hold the front line a little bit. He needed more AP too. A lot of people think that having like multiple cannons and thunders will cover you for AP, but it's very useful to have just like, if you had Grumbling Guard and like maybe 1 or 2 Longbeards with great weapons, that would have made a huge difference in that front line. So, and the Longbeards with great weapons are good against Forsaken too. Like they can shut them down, and they have the armor piercing for the 75 armor of the Forsaken. But regardless, very well played to my opponent, Sir Luigi. It was interesting not seeing Runesmiths, but definitely went pretty big business over there with the cannons and the Ironbreakers. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that double cast. And guys, I got a lot more content coming soon. And also, let me know if you guys really want to see like 3 videos a day and maybe even 4. I might be able to push that. I'm not sure if my voice would hold up, but let me know, guys. Or if you're just happy with 1 or 2, I can do that as well. So guys, thanks again for watching. Have an excellent night and take care.